almost at the height of European racing season, then having encountered Italy and the dominance of Renault, the Alpha squadron, not only of the big two, but the DHL teams have had a wake-up call and are out in force, especially during qualifying. Maybe not Wittmann, but definitely Fisichella with the pole sitting pace, and the two BMWs as well, lining up on the front of the pack. Championship leader Nico Wirtz then qualifying fourth. So more of the same, no doubt. That being said, the other car of Bianchi hasn't qualified well. In fact, several haven't qualified well at all here. Alongside me, Michael Swinnerton has been keeping an eye on the qualifying sessions there. You noticed a few key elements there as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Seems to be a bit of a split half grid here. The two BMs have qualified well. The two Fords have qualified well. The two Volvos are sort of in the middle of the pack, but they're together. But Honda have kind of dropped the ball. You can see them way further towards the back there, behind three privateer cars on the right-hand row, as well as you said, Wittmann's Alpha and Bianchi's Renault. So they've got some work to do. In theory, they can move their way up to the front of the grid. We'll just have to see.
We're back on the South layout, no full Grand Prix layout, and that is including the final chicane and the bypass, earlier braking, and hopefully a bit more entertainment than it was last time by give or take what that chicane holds for us. Maybe I'm showing my bias there, but these 20 drivers won as they head for turn one as the lights go out. It's a rear-wheel drive frenzy as those two DHL cars make their presence known to the front-wheel drive cars. Wirtz not necessarily falling back yet. Fourth down to fifth, down to sixth, but Salo is about to lose that fifth place, no doubt. Okay, on the switch back, it's Salo and Palou getting an advantage on the title leader. Ford have done well around here in the past, so has Palou. But it's Fisichella leading, and the two BMWs, that hasn't changed, but Hartley's Alpha, the better of the two privateers then. High-speed trying to jam into the tight hairpin. We're still using the tighter one. Zhou Xiong up to 8th then. Fantastic run for Toyota, even if it's in privateer hands.
Yeah, that was quite the scrum going through lap one, as is to be expected round here. It is somewhat narrow and twisty for these cars. Through the chicane they go. Wirtz has now got himself some breathing room. Can he start to work his way back up towards his qualifying position of fourth? The top three have kind of gone. This is something we've seen before, is the rear-wheel drive class, as it were, disappearing up the road away from the front-wheel drives as they go into turn one. Wirtz taking a position off of Salo. Wirtz has started again.
Yeah, keep it. The keys for the race here is the gigantic curbs in the final chicane. The performance of the rear drive cars coming back into it. We haven't necessarily missed it, but it's a slight change from how well Renault have performed. On board with Wittmann then, chasing down Dumas.
Yeah, she's done well. She started somewhere around 16th or 17th on the grid, way far down the order. Has already got herself up to 10th, so she's passed a lot of cars. Passes another one in slightly dubious ways.
Oh, we've seen that before, the corner cutting of this, the tighter of the two hairpins.
Dumas not letting it go just yet. Takes the place back. Maybe Wittmann gave it back, thinking better of it. We'll have another go, I'm sure. Ekstrom, the first of the Volvos, in 12th, just outside the top 10. He's got two Hondas all over the back of him, so he's going to be on the defensive. To lap 3 they go. Wirtz has got himself around Hartley already. So Wirtz on the warpath once again.
Back already into starting positions, so it's going to be hopefully it's not as predictable as we're anticipating it to be, for race 1. Salo doing well, Palou doing well, Xiong doing excellently.
Yeah, this is a very good result for Zhao Cheng in the Red Flag Racing Toyota, the lone Toyota on the grid. Here we see Wittmann having another crack at Dumas. Takes a lot of curb again.
The rear end almost slid out for Dumas just then.
It's a rear-wheel drive car. All it takes is to run not quite enough rear wing, and it's going to happen.
Gianni Luzzi then doing the privateer PKP team proud as well.
Yeah, clinging on to 11th, just outside the top 10. He's obviously in his rookie season, so he'll just be concentrating on finishing races, preferably in the points. He's used to rear-wheel drive, of course, because his championship run in the European Series was with a rear-wheel drive Hyundai.
Yes. Still pretty much a talking point, but not news at all yet. If they've bailed out of Europe, where's there to go? We shall wait and see.
Well, they did put that cryptic thing online saying we'll be back. That was at the end of last season. So we're still waiting to hear a follow-up from that.
Quick glimpse of the Hondas then struggling compared to their good run of form as of recent races.
Yeah, they kind of dropped the ball a little bit on the setup here. It's hurt them in qualifying, and now they're mired back in the traffic. We've got Ekstrom to contend with in the Volvo there. He's holding his own rather well here.
More curb hopping, as to be expected.
You have to hit the
Slowest
sausage.
section of the track.
It is the law.
Ekstrom then mild in comparison to last season, even if it was stronger for Ingram, no doubt with that title win in his grasp at the time. Zanardi looking to put Ekstrom off. Almost a nibble on the back bumper there through turn 1.
Turn 1 is the main overtaking area in this track because it's the biggest braking zone, along with the other hairpin.
Here it comes.
Yeah, Ekstrom, this is a bit of a make or break year for Kenny because he didn't have the best of seasons last year. In fact, finished outside the points on more than one occasion. And especially if you then compare that to his teammates' performance.
Bianchi's struggling.
Yeah, Bianchi's struggling back here.
These Cobra cars now just becoming just ordinary in comparison. I mean, it's good that they're there. We've seen them in better days, though.
Yeah, definitely having the case of the second album not being quite as good as the first. And Ingram is last. How did you manage that?
We shall have to find out.
Not quite sure what happened there. I mean, I can see some damage on his back bumper, so I wonder if there's been some foul play, but looks like he's going to get...
I did see a straggler on lap 1, but I didn't realise it was going to be the defending champion there, so...
Well, he's got around one car already.
Yep.
We'll see how far back up the grid he makes it for race 2.
Back to reality for the Tamiya cars as well. They're plumb last. And here's the battle with the top 4 then. Wirtz has gained.
Yeah, Wirtz wants third place off of Jamie Webber there.
So half and half, good and bad for Renault then. Wirtz will want to get all the points he can doing that right now.
Yeah, Wirtz is already thinking about championship, of course. He's leading it. He's had an
lap as well.
Incredible season so far with 4 wins. So he's going to want to keep that momentum going. And the more points he can score, it means the less points his competitors score, and he can keep growing that gap.
Here's the Renault power that we saw on the backstretch at Maggiore before the waterfall. Here's the equivalent. Turn 1 coming up, but
is he going to send it?
Yeah, they're too far back. BMW's got it in great demand there.
Yeah, we saw the BMs have a lack of straight line speed at Maggiore. Now, granted, the straight here isn't quite as long, but evidently they will have tweaked the setups on those cars just to make sure they can hold their own down the start-finish straight and then capitalise on the corners. Vert's using all the road and a little bit more there.
So, sensible battle for the lead so far. Here's the best of the rest. Then as Hartley holds up everybody and the other privateer competitors. As far back as the Cobra cars being a separate pack altogether. There goes Salad on the inside of Xiong. Switch back inbounds. Xiong can get that back again.
Zhao Cheng took a little bit of grass. And Wittmann's looking at this saying, please get out of my way.
My teammate is doing better right now. Please let me go.
Because Wittmann, of course, is also going to be thinking about championship. She's got it twice, so she knows what to do and what to think about, how to go about these things.
It's been a tougher test for Alpha this season. Polo then. Definite advantage on the exit of the final turn. Exit of the chicane perhaps, and through to 5th.
Hartley down to 6th. Before we get to turn 1. Hartley has a little look on the inside, not quite room.
No aggression.
Wittmann sends it on Sarlo. Sarlo is having none of that. Too wide through the S's up the hill. Wittmann's going to have the preferred line. Sarlo is not giving in just yet. That's going to be Wittmann's for the taking, just. Liotzi's looking a little bit racy, trying to get around that DHL Alpha of Duma, and he's got to be careful because Zanardi is now right behind him. Zanardi has now got a round extra.
Zanardi's going to want to have a say. I've had a very good start to his season in the new team. Back to reality right here.
I mean, they're in the points at least, but obviously you need to be in the top 10. I was talking about consistency and how Honda were doing it right last time out at Maggiore, and this is not doing it right, having your cars 12th and 13th. With half the race to go, you're rapidly running out of laps to get around cars in front of you.
Battle for the privateers then as Liotzi and Duma go head to head, almost wheel to wheel stuff, and then there's the two Hondas in tandem.
With Ekstrom and Bianchi now in tow, so this train is just slowly getting bigger and bigger. Palou hasn't really pulled away at the top of it either. He's got a little bit of breathing room to Hartley.
I was expecting Hartley to be the cork, but he's holding his nerve, holding his ground, and almost, if not definitely, okay, and maybe not, getting the position back off of Palou.
There was an attempt.
And it's still going to happen. Will it be a dive bomb? Yeah, that was wide from the red flag car. Not so much of a dive bomb for Wittmann to make, and that is almost... Ooh, we've seen that before. Not as dramatic.
Clips the sausage. Cheng with another wide line. Wittmann pulls out early, telegraphs that move, but has got a lot of overspeed on that Toyota. We saw that in the past when Toyota here were here in an official capacity, that Crown athlete struggled for straight line speed, but Cheng takes it back on turn 1. Wittmann is still there. They're going to go too wide through here again. Wittmann, nope, clears the Toyota. So Wittmann now
Cheng
up to 7th.
Was not giving that up easy. Might have to concede for the rest of this particular race, but is in a comfortable position come the end of it. Reverse grid, of course. He could be in a very good slot for race 2. That being said, there's other competitors behind, Duma and Liotzi included. Zanardi still ahead of his teammate.
Yeah, Duma now holding up his own little train, just trying to keep 10th place, which of course is that all-important pole position for race 2. Liotzi is trying his damnedest to take it. I think Liotzi might be the faster car at the moment. Though in amongst all of that, Bianchi has caught up to this train. Ingram has caught up to this train.
As has Ekstrom.
Well, Ekstrom was always there. He's just lost a couple of spots to the Hondas.
I'm getting my blues and my yellows mixed up. Seeing those two together, but of course it was one of the Renaults. That would have been Bianchi. Liuzzi done the inside of Dumas again. This battle will run for another 5 laps.
Meanwhile, Sarlo's now having a go at Zhao Cheng, trying to put the privateer another spot down. Liuzzi now has that 10th place. Dumas trying his damnedest to keep it. I think Liuzzi's going to have it there. He's going to get clear just about.
For the time being, that is on. Meanwhile,
Can
Fisichella
Zanardi do
still
anything
leads.
about it? He's going to have to go the long way round the hairpin. Backs out of it a little bit.
It's a chain down to 14th to 13th because Bianchi is holding up the rest of them. And
Bianchi's
only one
taken-
single solitary point for the Volvo team then.
Yeah, Bianchi has
Not a
taken
good look.
14th off of Ekstrom, so Ekstrom is continuing to fall back a little bit, unfortunately.
Not a good look for Ingram's title defence then if he's not in the points right now.
He's in an awful position right now because it's, do I overtake my own teammate and put my teammate outside the points, or do I take the sacrifice and finish 16th? That's a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation there.
Wirtz still can't get past Webber.
Webber's putting up a good defence here. Webber's won round here in the past. He knows what he's doing at this track.
Sensible line from Wirtz there. Maybe needs to be a bit more aggressive with the remaining 4.5 to go.
I think Wirtz is just struggling with the fact that this is the rear-wheel drive playground and he's in a front-wheel drive car. He can't quite keep up through the twisty turnies. Can't quite get a good enough run out of the last corner to then try and send it on Webber into turn 1. So he's just sort of stuck holding station for now.
Crowd being kept entertained by this midfield battle then. Plo at the head of it. An absolute chain of different types of manufacturer and privateer effort in variety of cars as well. Front and rear wheel drive.
Hartley looks like he might be able to have a go at the Ford in front of him. It's
I'm
better
not enough
of it.
power to get
Tucks
past
back
that
into
Ford.
line. Zanardi now up to 11th. Dumas has lost another position. Bianchi now forcing his way through on Lammers. Lammers
But then
gonna
Lammers.
send it back on him. Who's going to have the momentum through the S's? There's a bit of contact.
Clean bit of aggression, no damage that I see through the camera lens at least. Here goes Wittmann up to 6th, but she's cut that grass before.
Yep. Making sure it's well maintained, but she is now past the other DHL Alpha. Moves herself up to 6th place. If she can get around Pelot, I have a funny feeling she'll start to gap this group and live in the sort of no man's land that lives between 5th and 4th place right now.
And that's only getting bigger because Wirtz now has got ahead of Webber at the end of the long straight.
Yeah, Bert's now into 3rd, so he's on the podium. That's 3 different manufacturers on the podium.
Hard to tell which battle to watch here.
Webber just keeping him honest. Isn't falling off the back of the train just yet. With a late lunge on Wirtz, I think that was just distraction technique more than anything else. Now, can Wittmann cut the grass again and do the same thing to Pelot that she did to Hartley last lap? She might just be close enough. Ooh, tries the line, doesn't quite work.
If in doubt, cut the corner.
Yeah. I mean, she's not getting track limits infringements for it, so as far as
Game
the race officials
on.
are concerned, it's legal.
And if you think about it, it's not as tight as the waterfall, but you've seen that being cut so many times in the past. And this train of cars down to 15th then. All in the same shot soon.
This is definitely where the bulk of the fighting is happening. Wittmann telegraphing the move. Can
Almost
Ford
wheel to
keep
wheel, you
it?
can see that.
Oh,
Wow.
a little bit of
Oh,
contact. Late
more
lunge, not
aggression.
quite. The Ford is also one of the fastest in a straight line out of every car here. It's normally the Fords and the Renaults that occupy the speed trap records. I think that is Pallot's saving grace at the minute. Wittmann just trying the late lunge once again.
Still not getting any out of that particular corner. Different strategy is in order, no doubt. Fisichella still leads, Kubica second, Virch still third. Webber locked in for P4 unless something ridiculous happens. Curb crawling from Wittmann, trying all that she can to get past the Spaniard on home soil. He's won here before and in that very car.
Well, Wittmann now has one lap to do it. She's got essentially 2 overtaking opportunities here. She needs to make the most of them. Pallot a little bit early on the brakes. Wittmann has another look.
Almost aggression. That I think that was accidental. Power down for Wittmann, but no.
Almost gets a wheel alongside, but not quite. We've got 2 different lines into that corner, and I think that's throwing Sabine Wittmann off a little bit. Well,
Almost, correct me if I'm wrong, that was lights to flag then for Fisichella. Staple of this circuit in F1 parlance. But it's a BMW second and a Renault third. Good job from Virch to keep the front of the field awake enough to not lose pace. But the battle for fifth is still in the hands of Pallot, Wittmann, and perhaps Hartley, who's showing a bit more aggression towards the end, if a little bit late, and a fantastic run for Zhou Sheng. And he's going to get a say. Well, I've just realised that he's going to do well in his privateer, but he's been outdone by a fully recovered DHL team then after a poor Maggiore run, and only 1 point for Volvo, and Ingram doesn't get one of those points whatsoever this time by, and is going to struggle for race 2, and she's very sensibly placed 17th to last. Cobra and Tamiya tailing the field. As entertaining as it could possibly be around here, but we'll see more of that for race 2, no doubt, Swinny.
yeah, that was pretty on par for what we expect around this circuit. Some lunges at the hairpin, some curb hopping with the sausage curbs at the chicane. We'll look forward to more of that for race 2, with a privateer on pole, as Gianni Liuzzi has managed to sneak 10th place there. So we'll see what he can
Andrea will
manage in his
drive as well.
privateer. Exactly, we'll see what he can manage in his privateer BMW for race 2.
A early shout for China to get its first World Super Touring win then. If that's going to be rear-wheel drive, will it be outdone by the Alphas for race 2? Short break this time by. It's later on in the afternoon for this weekend, and we can't wait to get there. Can't wait to get this weekend over and done with, but that's my personal bias. We'll try and keep ourselves entertained, as will you, for race 2. We'll see you soon. Reverse grid time could not come sooner for the spectators at Circuit Catalonia South, short, club, either or. And due to my personal bias, we forgot to mention that Fisichella's win was his first of the season. He's had many before, but this season that was his very first, and off and running into the title challenge he goes, even if Renault are running away with it so far. Gianni Liuzzi then scraping into the top 10 means it's a rear-wheel drive pole once again, and a rear-wheel drive third, fourth, and fifth. It'll be Ford's to be swamped at the first turn, and we shall see how that pans out. Michael Swinnerton alongside me, Adrian Michael Reese here. Any news during the break?
No, not particularly. I never did find out what happened to Anthony Ingram, though. I've just realised. I'll find that one out after this race. That'll be something to cover for the next time out at round 6. Either way, let's focus on what's about to happen here.
A very short break between the races, and normally you're hard on that. It's just we didn't have the time. But what we do have time for is lights going out, turn 1 inbound, and off go those rear-wheel drive cars. Second place for the Zhouchong Red Flag Motorsport, but Liam Hartley then, we've seen him up this high before, into turn 1, into okay, maybe not. Red Flag Motorsport defending it very well. But then there goes Wittmann, potentially up to third. Would make sense. Works team over the privateer one. But they have had form in the past of being complete underdogs as the traffic jam heads towards the spectator section.
Yeah, Wittmann there with a good run, getting herself around Liam Hartley. She spent most of race 1 overtaking DHL Alphas, so it makes sense that she's going to do it again. Webber following through. Hartley now dropping a few spots. Salo, of course, the big loser at the beginning of the race there, started second, now 6th, has got 2 more rear-wheel drive cars.
Close falling further back. Bumper. I think that, okay, so maybe 9th ain't too bad, but almost out of the top 10 through the traffic. Curb hopping aplenty, then Liuzzi leads. And
comfortably.
A solid second, a whole lap in second, and a whole lap in third as well. If these two, Webber and Wittmann, have their personal infight. Here's Salo then.
With a run on Kubica. Who's going to be better on the brakes? It's the BMW. And there's Wirtz.
Rare sight of Ford challenging for position on one of the more dominant forces in touring cars there. Dive bomb from Fisichella on Wirtz, but that's well anticipated by the Austrian.
Yeah, Wirtz just being very good at just being omnipresent in the last couple of rounds. Most of the rear-wheel drives now occupying the top spots on the grid. There goes another dive from Fisichella. He's trying to do some lessons from.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it did not pull off for him, much like it didn't pull off for Wittmann in race 1. Wirtz still ahead there.
Most of the time. Everyone just sort of in that awkward, just close enough to be tripping over each other stage. Ingram and Palou, too wide through the chicane. Ingram with the outside line. I think he's going to have the momentum to take that off the Ford. Off he goes. So he's already having a better time of things than he did in race 1.
Yeah, a lack of points, enough of a wake-up call for Ingram to do better, and it's evident right there that he's up 5 places. More to follow. Hartley down and defending from Kubica, then down the inside, and the switchback. Is it on? Looks it.
Looks it. Hartley tried to close the door on Kubica with Kubica halfway through it, but he manages to retain the position.
And Liuzzi still leads then. Sheng second, Wittmann third. And the traffic jam being dispersed. The Hondas further back than we anticipated.
Once again, but Lammers just gets himself around Palou there, so they're trying to move forwards in the correct direction. There's Palou, sends it on Lammers into the hairpin. Too wide still. I think Lammers is going to cover that one off. So Pelot down to 12th.
More curb hopping. They've had to, no doubt, soften the suspension as much as they possibly could there. But to counteract it with the rest of the track and do well around here. Wittmann ahead of Sheng as the red flag car inevitably starts to trickle back down the ladder.
Yeah, Zhao Cheng is now going to be careful that Jamie Webber doesn't take that third place away. Meanwhile, Liam Hartley and Marco Kubica, round 2. Kubica, I think, has it done this time. Almost. There we go.
Wirtz with some alternate lines as well, trying to get past Hartley and Kubica as well.
Yeah, Wirtz, once again, as I said, being omnipresent. He's just there. Threatening.
The cut from Fisichella. Still can't get past Salo. Ingram behind then. As much points as possible. Title defence is needed.
Yeah, to make up for the 16th place finish. So a little bit more spaced out between this top 4. Wittmann might be close enough to have a go at the lead. She's going to have a look. I don't think she's quite close enough to have a go. Has a little look again. Webber now closing up on the, or has closed up on the back of Zhao Cheng's Toyota. He will not be used to seeing that back bumper in his face. A wider line through the top of the hill there.
And despite it being reverse grid, we've got a top 4 battling for the lead. We saw that last time by the race earlier on. Webber on the inside then, corner cutting, taking a leaf out of the 4 leaves of Alpha. Cutting the grass. Still challenging, and around the outside, how dare he? How brave of him.
Zhao Cheng
Still
with his own
not
little
successful.
lawnmower. They're still too wide. Just about.
Wow.
A little bit of door banging. They've now
Someone's going to concede this.
They've now basically spent the entire lap too wide. There we go.
Oh. And it's still in the same order.
Just about. I don't think that fight is over and done with yet. I think Webber is the faster car. He just needs to find his way around. Whether he forces the door open on Cheng or exploits a mistake. He can see first and second place getting away, so he needs to get around this Toyota quick, sooner rather than later.
Once we're on board here, you see the cloud cover, just like Maggiore, it's going to be dry.
Yeah, it's all talk. Ingram then.
Slight bit of aggression there.
A little bit of a nibble on Fisichella's back bumper. Not sure what that was in aid of.
Was that around the outside?
Oh,
way
it's
too
an
wide.
attempt.
Fisichella's going to cut the corner. We just saw that again.
It gets a good entrance doing that, but it gives him a horrible line going out of the corner, so he has a horrible exit. It's not necessarily the best idea. It's alright for forcing the door open on another car, but if you can't get fully alongside, it doesn't actually pay off.
And that straight is not long enough before the second hairpin in the opposite direction. Yachts still leads then. Wirtz with the fastest lap.
Ingram managed to sneak around the outside of Fisichella. Is he going to get a 2 for 1? Is he going to get the Ford as well?
Is he going to get a 3 for 1?
Is he going to get, multi-pack deal? Not quite. Liam Hartley manages to hold the position.
3 per customer. But the momentum on that DHL car, okay, it's kept ahead. We're expecting Ingram to be down the inside for Campsa.
There we go. A lot better run out of that corner there. He'll have him into the hairpin.
If the Works Alpha can do it, so can the DHL car.
Yep.
Cut.
Case in
There we
point.
go. Wide goes Ingram. Down the inside went Salo. Fisichella's fallen back behind Lammers now.
Yep. So the Hondas are now getting involved. This is becoming quite the long train. In fact, this is essentially every car up to last. A little bit of breathing room there with Ekstrom in a sort of no man's land.
Duma down to 20th.
Duma down to 20th. So DHL woes are continuing.
Halfway through then, strong, well, almost halfway through, strong run from what we thought was a bit of a defunct vehicle in the Crown Athlete. Nearly said Chaser again. Different team. In Japan, different championship. I wonder if we could see a resurgence. Would Toyota think, you know what, maybe we made a mistake? If it's going to do this well,
mean,
being said, BMW on the inside.
There's every risk that it's just a flash in the pan for Xiaocheng. Obviously, he spent most of his early career growing up in China and Korea and Japan and Malaysia and a little bit in Australia. He's not really used to the European circuits that much, other than the experience he gained last season in that car. Obviously, he's learnt well enough because he's holding his own in third place now. So they do need to get a rig along, because I think Kubica and Wirtz are catching them. Webber once again going to try on the inside. He's very alongside this time. He should have the move done. There we go. Yes? No? Potentially. Xiaocheng having a look on the inside?
Wow.
No, covers it that time. There we go. Webber
Red
finally
flag.
passed the Toyota.
Red flag, we're not throwing the white flag.
Absolutely not.
But Kubica's closing in now.
And bringing
Haven't
Wirtz
got ahead
with him.
of Wirtz. Wirtz still with the flying lap though.
Yeah, this is now going to be a 6-car train for the lead. Liuzzi still doing a good job holding his own up against the most successful driver in this championship.
Showing that European form. Very capable hands in that privateer BMW. Another shout for a works entry soon. We shall have to wait and see, because Kubica is in that place right now. Depends how well Jamie Webber is going to fare for the remainder of the season.
Webber, now that he's past the Toyota, puts in the fastest lap of the race, so Jamie Webber's got something to prove. Here comes Nico Wirtz on Kubica with a send. Covers it off. Keeps the position.
A strong run for the top. Ooh, Kubica then. Perspective dive bomb. Thankfully, nothing.
There, but yeah, that could have been dangerous.
Nothing but aggression, and near misses.
Now, can Nico Wirtz get himself around that Toyota? He's got a number of laps to do it.
And Ingram with a number of laps to close on this group. We saw a brief glimpse of him just spreading away from the mid-pack then.
Yeah, he's got himself through the traffic. Misses the apex again for the hairpin. He's not particularly the biggest fan of that hairpin. With a headlight all cracked, he's definitely been in the wars.
Wonder if that's the actual performance impacting. That's
it looks just to be cosmetic. Given that his last lap was within the same second as Jamie Webber's fastest lap.
But then there goes Wirtz for another one. I wonder if with Ingram gaining, was that going to be enough of a fastest lap to ping the beam? No, it doesn't.
Wasting no time. Trying to get around Cheng's Toyota.
Dive bomb. Bit of more aggression from Cheng there.
Wirtz had the was able to, again, open the steering out and just keep the momentum up going through the corner. Able to give him a better run up the hill. So Vert's now up to 4th. It's now Kubica's turn to try and overtake the Toyota. And even though this will be a little bit demoralising for Zhao Cheng, he should still be very happy with a 6th place finish and be able to come away with 2 top 10 finishes in a round. That's very good progress for that team.
Strong weekend for red flag privateer entry. But even stronger privateer is the one in the lead.
Yeah, has managed to pull a gap on Sabine Wittmann. So this is no fluke. He got lucky with the top 10 reverse grid, but he's not just rolled over and given it over to a manufacturer car.
Just under 5 to go then. We're seeing the regulars at the front of the field for so many of the recent seasons being interspersed with some underdog element in Liuzzi and a title contending front wheel drive car. First time in a long while that front wheel drive has been a bit more of a dominant force over the rear wheel drives. This circuit showing the difference though, especially if Hartley's still in 8th, holding up Lammers and Sarlo.
Fisichella all the way down in 11th, so he's once again demonstrating that the Alpha doesn't really like traffic that much.
We were asking that question at the start of the season, has the tide turned in favour of front wheel drive? Or, I mean, it's fairly obvious with Fisichella not being in a strong position.
Bianchi still down in 14th, so where Nico Wirtz is managing to make the car work around here, Bianchi just struggling a little bit. They'll evidently have different setups on, and one will be behaving better than the other. Through the chicane they all go.
And there's still no obvious straggler.
But Cheng has fallen off the back of Wirtz now, but has got a little bit of breathing space between him and Kubica, so it's all sort of calming down now a little bit.
How hard will that red flag team fall? It's probably going to be, by the time Ingram crosses the line, he'll be ahead. 7th at worst, we anticipate. So this is still a strong run for Zhou Sheng.
Oh yeah, absolutely. As I said, they can still be happy with getting 2 top 10 finishes in a round. That's incredibly good improvement for that team.
Still a top 4.
Yeah, Wirtz is falling off the back a little bit of the top 3. Liuzzi has dropped back a little bit as well.
Only a slight amount. That gap is still to a degree there, but this is where maybe they got the power down right. Webber and Wittmann are closing in, perhaps. Webber definitely is on Wittmann. I thought your phone switched off. Anyway, Liuzzi's still on board. Wirtz getting it all wrong in the exit of turn 2.
Yeah, just sort of formation flying a little bit now.
Wide again. Tyres. No doubts. Ingram keeping it sensible.
In complete no man's land in 7th place there.
Hammer's got a Hartley to contend with before the end of the race, and more sensible points for the Honda team, especially if Zanardi can get past Fisichella in 11th.
Bianchi's managed to make up a place up to 13th. He's gotten around Palou, so Palou's day goes from bad to worse. Palou, having said
Down
it,
the inside goes Palou.
Sticks his nose in, tries to force the door open. Not quite enough.
About time we saw some aggression from the Ford. Maybe that was the right dose of aggression as well. Liuzzi crosses the line with 2 to go.
Everyone uncharacteristically calm at the minute. with Kenny Ekstrom there just rounding out the points-paying finishes. So a grand total of 2 points for the other Volvo driver, the second Volvo driver, if he keeps that one up. Fisichella having a look at Sarlo. Who's going to be braver on the brakes? It looks like it's going to be the Ford, just about. Fisichella sends it, keeps the door open. Oh, okay.
Brave,
Sarlo's
clean,
still
but the
there.
switchback is on.
They're going to go too wide through the S's again. Who's going to have the better
Clean again.
momentum? I think Fisichella might just take that. But Sarlo is still there. Going all the way around the outside.
Alpha finally ahead with no damage throughout that move.
A little bit of light scrapage, but otherwise, yeah, clean move. Zanardi now already trying to get involved with the Ford.
Now, with one to go, what do we look at here? We still keep an eye on Zanardi with Bianchi behind and Sarlo ahead.
Fisichella has already caught Lammers, so Lammers has dropped off the back of Hartley a little bit, although Hartley's still right there. So this train of cars all clumping up for one last lap.
It might be too late for Ingram to gain on the top 6, so Zhou Sheng is going to be in a very comfortable and very well earned 6th place. Kubica ahead, Vert still ahead in 4th, but not enough to threaten the top 3. It's going to be a rear-wheel drive podium. They set that out in practice in qualifying, but what we did not expect was that Liuzzi would still be leading it by the time he reaches these final 3 apexes.
Yeah, he's done an absolutely incredible job with that car, and this will be the team's first win. So they'll have a lot to celebrate.
Kubica in 5th couldn't get this car to win, but Kubica will be happy enough in 5th. Strong haul of points, and PKB Racing just jumping for joy in the pit lane. So our Red Flag Motorsport. Ingram and Team Volvo not so much, but points are enough. It's still more would be needed, more would be ideal. Hartley fending off the rest of the pack then, as Honda leave perhaps scratching their heads just as much as Volvo are. You can see them getting a sensible haul of, still not enough, but not exactly the crumbs of what Ekstrom gets with a single solitary point, and no stragglers. Dumartin last. Surprise, surprise. Poor at Maggio, but what can we expect with a circuit like this? And entertaining nonetheless, not necessarily a thankfully it's over. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, one of the races of all time. Massive congratulations to Gianni Liuzzi and the PKP team there. That's I mean, to win as a privateer is always a special thing. Ever since the first season with Jamie Webber and the DHL team, we've always had one upset show up, and Liuzzi could be very happy that he's been the upset. The question is now, can the rear-wheel drive cars keep up this momentum? Because we're at the Red Bull Ring next.
And with Alpha doing so well, it's a change to P3 in the Constructors' Championship, as Volvo, with their poor form, fall back substantially, actually. It's only an 11-point gain on the points for Volvo, but Alpha have managed to take a decent haul of points, but it's Renault still leading the Constructors' Championship, with Honda second, but starting to slip themselves. Renault on 329, Honda on 259, Alpha 210, Volvo 157. As for the drivers then, Nico Vert still holding strong with only a 6-point gain. Zanardi taking Bianchi's place then in P2, I've got that the wrong way around. Bianchi still in second place with only a 4-point advantage to Zanardi. If I know my maths wrong here, let's start that again. Wirtz has got 31 points of a gain. Bianchi with only a 6-point gain. So Wirtz on 194, Bianchi on 135. Zanardi only taking 10 points. Closer to Bianchi in second, but still locked into third for the time being. And Lama still locked into fourth. But with Ingram's poor form, Wittmann's doing well, has managed to nab P5 in the Drivers' Championship. As for the privateers then, that is still Katzberg's right now. Liuzzi has closed in, but only by 13 points. So when it comes down to the teams championship then, we are still looking at Tamiya still leading the teams in the independents, but PKP have swapped places with Cobra Motorsports, thanks to Cobra not really doing much at all this time by. And then we go to Austria, the Red Bull Ring. It's, correct me if I'm wrong, that's going to be the front-wheel drive territory once again, like you've just highlighted there. It's long straights, more power, not the acceleration that you would see or expect to happen around here. And we will obviously head for those hills sometime soon. We'll see you there. On behalf of Michael Swinnerton, this is Michael Reese. World Super Touring action complete for the weekend. Good racing, everyone.